You're listening to Spark TV, where we bring you daily interviews with real women in business at all stages. I'm your host, Danielle Lewis, and I am so grateful to have you here. Amazing, Brooke. Welcome to Spark TV. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you. And thank you so much for having me.
Oh, my absolute pleasure. I was just sharing with you that this is literally my favorite time of the week where I get to talk to amazing women doing amazing things. So, yes, absolutely my pleasure. Let's start out by telling everyone who you are and what you do.
Sure. Well, my name is Brooke Lowther, and I'm the founder of Fox Supplements. So, Fox is, it's something that I've been working on for the last 3 years. So, when I talk about it, I feel like, it's launching now, I think. Even though it's been going for 3 years, it's just taken a really long time. But Fox Supplements is basically a wellness brand that are hopefully going to change the game in the way that we take supplements.
Oh
Hopefully.
my God, this is so exciting. And isn't it funny how long things really do take, Like I
Oh,
think we have
yes.
these moments of genius where we're like, oh my God, this is the best idea ever. I'm going to change the world. And then you like start the journey and it's like, whoa, this is not quick.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's it. And especially in this space as well. Like,
Mm,
supplements, a lot of people have these quick fads and they'll throw together things that actually don't work. They'll create a hype about it, and then all of a sudden, they sort of crash and burn. And I realized that, we really need to put science into this. People are
mm.
putting things in their bodies, and I actually want the longevity of seeing how this works for people, because it was really a personal journey that the whole reason why I started.
Well, tell me about that. So how did you get into this in the first place?
Well, look, my background's actually in media. So I've been doing
Oh.
TV presenting for the last 23 years. And it came from, I suppose, falling pregnant at 40. I always
Mm.
joke and say that my partner switched out my contraceptive for Tic Tac. I always say that to people. But actually, yeah, we had this amazing surprise baby, but my body really it was healthy. I've always been healthy, but I found afterwards I really did struggle. And it came from conversations with girlfriends who had gone through breast cancer. It came from women that go to the gym all the time that were having problems with falling pregnant. So there was all of these different types of women in our group, I suppose, that had different stories to tell. And we were trying to find some solutions. And I suppose we tried lots of different supplements and loads of bad diets, but there's nothing out there that really just worked, that really
Mm.
supported our home. Like we're just walking hormones, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that we just need things to really sort of work for us. So that's kind
Yeah.
of how it all started, to be honest.
Wow. And you said at the start, you had this vision to change the way that supplements worked or how people
Yes.
consumed them. What's that vision for you?
Well, we now have gone in after like 3 years of research, have found that the powders and the capsules take about 20 to 30 minutes to actually absorb into your body.
Oh.
Whereas a liquid form is so much faster. It takes 2 to 3 minutes to absorb. You can have a high potency. So we're working in the space now of liquid, and we're doing the pre, pro, and also postbiotics, and working around gut health, because we feel that is what is fueling so many different things. So we sort of decided to branch into that, stick with that, and honestly, it's been amazing. The results that we've seen have just been phenomenal. So I feel so much better. And I'm I've always taken so many different supplements, and sometimes I'm just like constantly filling my body with stuff. I feel this is really clean as well. It's like a really
Mm.
nice, clean way to take them, that is working for us. So we're
This
very
is
excited.
so cool because the powders are a pain in the bum. let's
Yeah,
be let's be honest. So
that's right.
mate, it's
Yeah.
interesting that you talk about like the efficacy and the science, but just as a general consumer, like I find it such a pain to be mixing and I'm like,
Yes,
I'm busy. I just need this to happen.
that's right. And I think that's it. We just found that yeah, putting the powders in milkshakes and time to make a smoothie. And sometimes the taste was actually disgusting. It'd change
Yes.
your tea or it'd change whatever it was that you were having. Whereas this
Yeah.
can be taken just a couple of drops under the tongue. If you want to, you can put it in a smoothie. You can
Mm.
put it in a hot tea as well as something
Cool.
that's cold. So we're finding that that is a really quick and easy way on the run, put the bottle in the bag and off you go, sort of thing.
Oh
So,
my God, I love this already. Okay, good. You've already got a customer out of me. I'm converted.
great.
Oh, that's so good. So,
Fantastic.
again, we talked about the 3-year process, and
Yes.
obviously, being in supplements, it would be highly regulated, very scientific. It's not something that you can kind of just, a service-based business where you can throw up a landing page online, done in a day. Talk to
That's
me
right.
about how the process was like for you. How's it been actually getting this ready to go to market?
Really hard, really hard. And I think that's where the 3 years have come into play. So we would come, with a whole lot of ingredients. We'd come with all the different sort of measurements. Will this work? No, you can't have this.
Mm.
Even in February, we had to take out our ashwagandha because there's a lot of side effects now that they're finding. So it's
Wow.
been it's just been something that we have had to work with our biochemists with, and they've been fantastic. They've got 35 years experience. They've been doing this, when I was running around sort of still in, you know, prep, like they know what they're doing. But it is really regulated, and which is a really good thing here in Australia because we did
Mm.
start out in the States. So we did have a few products out there that went gangbusters, but it's very different to Australia. So we just wanted to
Mm.
make sure that we met all the Australian standards, and that our products are actually sort of doing what we say they're going to do as well. So that was
So that
really key for
so
us.
that's really interesting. So have you already had something going on in the US?
We did. We just trialed it. I think because
Cool.
they've been doing for such a long time. And I spent a bit of time over there for a little while in my younger days. And I think, yeah, they do that. They have been doing it for a little bit longer than us, I feel. So we
Mm.
did trial sort of a few of our products over there, and they went fantastic. We sold out our libido product. It was
Wow.
literally 2 months worth of stock in sort of 6 to 8 hours when we
Oh
launched,
my
which was
God.
cool. But then, yeah, we then sort of, right, we're going to come and we want to do this. Obviously, in Australia, this is where we're based. This is where I'm from. Let's do this. And it was completely different. So we've learned so many lessons, but I even though we had FDA approval, we wanted the TGA, we wanted to work
Mm.
in those guidelines here. So
Wow. That's really
yeah,
interesting too, because I think that
yeah,
as consumers, because we can buy anything from anywhere online, I think we
yes.
think it's all the same. So that's really
Uh,
interesting that you had that experience around going to the US, having one set of guidelines, and then now in Australia. And it's hilarious too, because I think usually people do it in reverse. They just start here and
I
then try and
know.
scale. So that's really cool.
Yeah, that's right. So hopefully we can go back to America with even a better product because we were doing
Mm.
capsules over there as well, which is really
Wow.
different. We hadn't even thought about doing liquid. And it wasn't until we came up against some of these things that I'm like, well, why are we doing capsules and powders? Like, why can't we do liquid and make it more potent and actually give people an amazing product that's even 10 times better than what we're kind of doing? So it was a really good learning lesson and a journey, which was all meant to be, even though there was nights where I was up, going, why is this TGA causing so much, problems? Maybe this is a really terrible idea. And then I
Mm.
sort of looked at other women and other businesses. I'm like, how are they doing this? Are they just like multimillionaires? And it's that I'm not there, and I can't just throw money at stuff, and just really had to kind of go back and almost start again, which was
Wow.
humbling and also really upsetting at the same time to try and do it on your own. So that's the other thing. I think you're just a one-man band, and I sort of wear so many different hats, and I really do feel like women in business are like that. Doesn't
Mhm.
matter if you have children or not. I still feel that you take on so much more as a female within a household, and whether it's the cooking and the washing and even working from home's hard because you're looking at, oh, I could do that. Oh, I need to put another load of washing on. It's just things like this, let alone how women are running around with picking up and dropping off kids as well as running a business. So, yeah, that's why I think women are just so amazing in
It's so
business.
true. I mean, it's really interesting. Like anyone who's listened to
Yeah.
this podcast will know my gripe with working from home and
Oh,
like
yes.
then
Yeah.
being the person that's apparently is responsible for groceries and cooking and all the things. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
drives me wild. But that's like
Same.
a whole
Yeah,
nother podcast episode.
exactly. I think that, yeah, I think there's like a whole nother podcast kind of that
Oh
you
my
could do
God.
on this.
But it
Absolutely.
is so interesting. I
Yeah.
do love your comment around women and how we are amazing because it's true. Obviously, I wouldn't have a women in business network if I didn't think that. But I mean, I feel like running a business is so difficult, right? And
Yeah.
you do have to wear all of these hats. You do have to problem solve so much. And I think you're right. It's just like women do have this naturally ingrained desire to solve all the problems, do all the
Yes.
things, be in all the places. And usually, even though we tear our hair out, we usually make it work.
Yes, I do. I do believe that. I think we're so used to juggling. And I won't lie to you. I think, there are times where, I just be like, oh, to your partner, why can't you think to do all these things?
Oh
But
my God, let me tell you a story. So I
oh
had a
yes,
mental
please.
breakdown last week. And so on the weekend, my husband was sitting in bed watching TV, totally fine. He works very hard, so he's
Yeah,
allowed downtime. But
yes.
I put clean sheets on the bed, like the pile on the bed, and I kind of
Oh,
made a little joke of it. I was like, and then I walked off and did my own thing. And
yeah.
then he migrates to the other TV and doesn't bloody change the sheets. I was
Oh,
furious.
yeah. And it's funny how they function with so much like a pile of, Mount Everest clothes next to them that they can easily walk past. Whereas my eye would start twitching at that. I'd be like, I've got to do that as well. It's really, I know. I don't know how they don't see stuff like that, but they don't.
Oh my God. Oh, I know. And I actually
Yeah.
don't even think it's like on purpose. I
No,
literally
I
think
I agree.
they just don't see it. It's
I
like,
just don't see it there. Yeah. It's just
oh
part
my
of the
God.
bed. Yeah.
It's
Anyway.
wild. It's wild. Oh my
Yeah.
God. So I have to ask you,
Yeah.
you mentioned that when you had the product in the US, you
Yeah.
literally sold out 2 months supply in 6 hours, 6 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
I've got to ask how. So one of the things I love to
Yeah.
share is how people grow, like how you actually grow your business, how you get bigger, how you do all the things. What was the secret to selling out in a day?
I I think it was my TikTok. And I think it was,
Ooh.
yeah. So, and I was so scared to do TikTok stuff, but I feel like I sort of started and it was terrible. So no one go on and have a look at like my previous TikTok stuff. But and it was that. It was TikTok and it was a little bit of the Instagram, and it was
Mhm.
really that kind of thing that started to shift for me. And I think that's what helped. And and it was such a scary thing because I'm not really in that space. And I always thought it was a younger space to be in.
Well,
Uh,
I feel like I'm too old for TikTok.
Me
So
too.
you're giving me
Yes,
life.
that's what I thought. But that's where a lot of even though my demographics around that 25 to 55,
Mm.
it was that really started some traction for us.
Wow.
So that's what helped, I think. And
That's so
yeah,
cool.
and me just being a little bit crazy and I was trying to think of funny videos and that sort of stuff. So yes,
Oh my
I
God,
think
that
that's what
is so cool. I
helped.
do love that you said that because it is one of those things where there are so many different ways to market a business. And I
Oh,
think
yes.
sometimes we do get a little bit scared trying new things, especially as we get, to a vintage as
I
I'm getting
know.
to. And then I'm like looking at
Yes.
TikTok going, I'm so not interesting. How am I going to post?
Well, and I was like that as well. And what am I going to post? And yeah, so I started to Google a lot, what can I
Mm.
post? And I've got a supplement business, what is it I could post on TikTok? So I started to kind of find things like that and research and
Ah,
then
that's
asked a
cool.
lot of younger people around me. I even asked my daughter, and she's not really allowed to be on social media yet, even though she's 16. Like, she doesn't
Yeah.
have that. And it's great. She's not really on that, but a lot of her friends might be. And so it was like, oh, what would you guys have a look at? And so that's kind of where it's really started to happen for us, especially in the States. This time, a little bit, it's different. So I'm looking at
Mhm.
the TV networks, just some
Cool.
print campaigns, all the old stuff that I know of in the old journalist within me. But we'll see. It might actually be social media here as well. So I'll have to find out.
I do love that as well. I mean, really interesting that you're going for the perhaps old school media.
Yes.
Whereas, because I always think like we shouldn't dismiss that stuff. Like it's
No,
obviously lasted for such a long time because it works.
exactly.
And I
Yeah.
think sometimes we get obsessed with social media, like, oh, if I'm not a viral sensation, my
Yes.
business won't work. So I actually love that you're tapping into other platforms. That's really cool.
Yeah, I think people forget about that. So we've got a
Mm.
couple little write-ups in some of the magazines that like Cove magazine, which is a really nice prestige magazine that's based in Queensland. But it sits around because it's so beautiful. It sits around in cafes, it's in some of the airport lounges, and they're things that I think people still pick up and read about. So
Mm.
for me, I think, yeah, looking at all the marketing still, I think is important, not just social media. So
I
that's what
think
I think, but I don't know.
I no, I completely agree. I love it. It's it's I struggle because, I guess I'm from the vintage of business where I'm like do everything, be everywhere, hustle like and it's
Yes,
funny because I think today people are trying to take a softer approach, more balanced approach to
yeah,
business and life. And so I do struggle with giving advice to people because I'm like, you literally have to try everything and figure out what works.
yes,
It is
yes,
hard because I know people like their downtime.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, so good. What do you think has been the biggest challenge in the last 3 years getting this off the ground?
It would be the regulations, obviously, the
Mm,
TGA. And I think, I don't know, sometimes questioning myself, I think as women, we sometimes do that and we've got to stop doing it.
yeah.
It's just, oh, I don't know if I can do this. Am I better off just going back to my 9 to 5 and playing it safe? But I realized that women have this emotional intelligence that I don't think really a lot of men have.
Mm,
And
I agree.
I know it sounds terrible. I'm just like, you know, sort of, putting down men, but I'm not. I think that we really do have an emotional intelligence and a gut feeling that I
Mm,
think that we really need to follow at times. And women, I think, lead their brands with their heart because of that emotional intelligence. So what we're putting into it, I think, is so much more sometimes, if that makes sense. Hopefully it's making
yes.
sense. So the biggest challenge for me was obviously the regulations and funding. That's been huge because I've been funding it myself, but it's the confidence within myself.
Wow. So what's kept you going then in, with these challenges in your way? What
Yes.
has kept you going and kept you motivated to keep pushing to make this happen?
I think it's been wanting to see how other people are going to feel from
Mm.
what it is that I'm trying to do. So I think that's what it is, because there's been people that have written back going, I feel so amazing. Or,
Oh, wow.
I've seen, we've got a slimming sort of tonic that I've been taking as well. And it just makes you feel like a lot lighter. And so the comments that are coming through, I think, from the community and other people, that is
Mm.
the biggest driver for me. As I said, this has been derived from personal experience, watching really close friends go through breast cancer, So that for me has been my driver to keep going, the pep talk within me, and also trying to go for grants,
Yes.
trying to find do we come under a research and development grant?
Mm,
So those hurdles have been hard, because you can't make someone, come on board and give you money, say. So any sort of savings I've had or things like that, I've put everything into.
wow.
But then, yeah, so that's kind of been it, really. They've been the biggest challenges, I think.
Yeah, I
Going,
mean, so interesting because, I think that sometimes we forget that we are actually making an impact in the world. And it's
yeah,
just, I always say to people, if somebody has had an impact on you, whether it's product, service, or just your friend with oh my God, I love your shoes, like some kind of throwaway line, I'm always like, tell people that because you just never know. It might be that one comment or testimonial or review or whatever that actually keeps the person going. So I
yes,
do love that you said that because, we are, I think a lot of us women specifically create impact-led brands and it
yes,
is hard to keep going. So
yes,
yeah, you've got to remember that you are making a difference in people's lives.
that's right. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Oh, I love it so much. I could talk to you all day, but
I know. As I said, I'm a talker, so cut me off at any time.
I love it. Well, good segue. Now, I always love to wrap up these podcasts with one last piece of advice.
Yeah.
So, reflecting on your time in business, what would be a piece of advice that you would give to another woman on her business journey?
I think if you're starting out, just start. I think that's the
Mm,
biggest thing. Start messy. Don't worry if you don't have all the things lined up yet, because they kind of just fall into place. You're either going to go down a slightly wrong path and you go, oh, okay, I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to do this. Start messy, but start. Don't hesitate. I think that's probably the biggest advice I could give, and refine later. You've got loads of
mm.
time to refine. As we go, we grow as, say, a brand, or we grow by meeting new customers, or whatever the business is. But I think that's probably my biggest thing. And trust your instincts. Trust your
Oh my God, I could not agree anymore. Brooke, you are amazing, and I'm so excited to see the Australian launch and follow your success
Thank you.
and share it with everyone. And also, I can't wait to actually check back in, like let's
Yeah,
get on a podcast again in 12 months and hear how it all unfolded. So
that's
I'm
cool.
just
Thank
wishing
you.
you the best of luck and so grateful that you shared your story with the Spark community.
Look, thanks, Danny. Thanks for having me. And I'll definitely be back on to tell you how it went in 12 months' time, for sure.
That wraps another episode of Spark TV. Shout out to Spark TV sponsor IP Australia for their amazing support of the Spark podcast and women in business. And if no one tells you today, you've got this.